Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com, and it's time for your post Impact Wrestling show. Y'all know who I am. I have the king to my JR, but we're actually neither human because we both are clowns at our best. I have Cresta Starr. Cresta, how are you?
I had the post-impact show up on the other monitor, and then I started hearing the echo, and I was like, wait, did he finish his question? What's going on? I apologize. In that moment, my brain blue screened. It errored. Hello, welcome to the Clown College. That is the post-impact show with Joe Pearl and Cresta Starr. I am hot. My AC is going on, but I have this green screen behind me, so all the cool air is being blocked. You guys can't see it because you see Total Dial and some amiibos, but I assure you that's a green screen.
Well, you don't need a green screen to leave a thumbs up here on this video and subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. If you're in the audio realm and you're listening to us over in the podcast world, go ahead, drop us a 5-star review, regardless of where you are. I don't care if it's Spotify or Spotify, if I call it that way, or if you're on Apple Podcasts, you're on Overcast like I use, any of those places. If you leave us a 5-star review, gets us a little bit closer to you getting your wrestling news and reviews in your ears and your friends' ears. So go ahead and get us because we sound good. We sound good. Cresta, you sound good. How are you feeling? How was your week? And how do you feel about Impact Wrestling for August the 11th? Was it a good show for you?
5 out of 5. I was saying
really?
Last week, I stand 10 toes down. I don't care out there on this cross, but I loved it. I thought tonight was really good. And I was thinking earlier that Impact, what they do really well is go home shows. I liked it. And at the end, Shelley was spitting, he was talking, and he let Josh Alexander have it. We'll talk about that later, but that really put it over for me. I was like 4.5, but I couldn't find anything to hate about it. In fact, one of the matches, I just had to stop writing. It was like, oh my God, these two. And it's the X Division for a spoiler alert.
Of course it was.
Spoiler alert. What did you think of the show tonight? Did you enjoy it? Did you have a good time?
So going into it, for some reason, my brain blue screened, and I thought that Emergence was not tomorrow night, August the 12th. I thought it was the 20th for some reason. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, we've got an Impact tonight, and then we've got Impact next week, and then it's Emergence. Nope, it's tomorrow night. Emergence is tomorrow night. So this was effectively their go home show. And it was a good show. I'm teetering on a 3.5 and a 4. There was some stuff that like really bugged me. And then there was some amazing in-ring work, and that closing segment, that contract signing. I told you off the air, Cresta, that I do not care for contract signings. This one between Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley really bought me a ticket for that match. I was already invested. I was going to enjoy that match because those two are great wrestlers, but those two are now having a great one-upsmanship game, and it came across in that promo. I enjoyed it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk to y'all in the chat. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. If you got a super chat, you can go ahead and donate those. It's that little $sign icon on the bottom of your youtube.com/Fightful chat screen. Any amount. Get your question or statement read on the air. And it also supports us here at Fightful.com. Keeps the lights on. Gets Cresta paid. Overbooked is the way that I get paid, but that's not important. We'll talk about overbooked later. Cresta, did you watch BTI?
Oh, this time I did. And I was DMing you all day like, you're not going to flame me on the air this time.
She did
I watched the whole thing.
Well, first of all, you did not have to watch the whole thing.
Well, I know that now.
There are only 2 things on BTI that I've ever deemed worth watching, and really only one of the things. The match is what you got to watch. The only other thing that's sometimes useful is the George Iceman Intels segment, where it's literally him with his phone up to his face being like, George Iceman here telling you all about Impact Wrestling's upcoming event. Yeah, George, love you, pal. I just, good Canadian boy. But anyway, George usually has something to give us during BTI, but this week it was more like, I have been told that people are injured coming out of a big match that they had in last week's episode. And I'm like, okay, so there's nothing to report. But we saw a really good match on BTI between Steve and Steve.
Steve.
May the best Steve win, a Steve Macklin and Crazy Steve face off, and a really good match, straightforward match. There were a lot of vision impairment jokes, Cresta.
Bro, after you told me, so when we were talking about Steve, I had told Joel, I was like, my roommate thinks he's hot. So I thought Joel was like, yo, your roommate's blind. So I'm like, wait, you mean my roommate or Steve's like, no, Crazy Steve is blind. Me on the internet. Oh boy, is real life Daredevil. And I couldn't even hear the blind jokes. And from that point on, I was in awe. He has so much respect for me for that. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. And he's moving like, I see everything that's going on. Maybe he is Daredevil. Marvel Studios, call up Crazy Steve. Method acting be damned.
For the record, I was actually speaking of all three of you being blind. Your roommate, you, Steve.
That's fair. That's fair.
They talk a lot about the fact that Crazy Steve can't get a driver's license. Macklin uses a thumb to the eye of a blind man, so clearly that's going to go somewhere. And then eventually Steve bites Steve. I'll let you figure out which one that is. And then Steve does the tag him and bag him, hits him low with the crosshairs, caught in the crosshairs. Easy for me to say. It's like a Tree of Woe spear. And then Steve wins with the double underhook DDT, also known as the Kia Sorrento. I'm sorry, the KIA.
Wow. You got hate in your heart tonight.
Thumbs up, thumbs down for Sammy Callahan, and Steve is on his way to Emergence. I'll let the chat figure out which Steve won, or you can go and watch BTI.
I mean, the match itself was good. Jokes aside, if you take away everything else that happens and watch it in isolation, it's a pretty good match. It's very competitive. Steve v. Steve.
Yeah, I thought the Steves did a good job. I think if there were more matches where people had the same first name that we can confuse the hell out of you for, I would love to do that.
I was doing that at the end with Alexander versus Alex. I was like, Alex v. Alex. No, wait, there's Joshua in there somewhere.
Got to. We'll run down the Emergence card at the end of the show. We'll give our predictions or give our picks, talk about what we're interested in. We had a match added to the show later tonight, and we'll get to that segment for the Digital Media Championship. Finally, we'll talk about that soon. Impact opens up with a match between Kenny King, Karl Anderson. A slow match. Not my favorite match. A lot of stretching, a lot of working over with singular body parts. Overall, the finish was great. But overall, what do we expect? Karl Anderson gets the win. He reverses Kenny King's attempt at a royal flush after King had just sent Anderson head first into the turnbuckle while on his shoulders. And then while he's going for that royal flush, Anderson turns it into the gun slam, which was cool. That was a really good finish to the match. And then post-match, of course, Kenny King goes to nail Karl Anderson with a chair and injures up his knee, goes for the throat, and then Heath shows up out of nowhere, hits that wake-up call, and saves Karl Anderson before King could break Karl's arm. Cresta, what did you think?
As a professional Honor No More hater, I was actually pleasantly surprised with how Kenny King wrestled this match. He really worked over Karl Anderson. I was like, okay, I respect it. The post-match is really where it was at. They were going to go give Karl Anderson the old Pillman eyes on the leg, and then Heath came out, and at this point it's like, why don't you guys expect Heath? I feel it does give Bullet Club momentum, but much to my chagrin, I see Honor No More winning, and I see them going for the tag titles, whether they capture them or not. They're not breaking up, and I want them to, like a professional Honor No More hater, I want them to, but I foresee that. So you gotta, to me, it's like you gotta give Bullet Club a little something to make them look a little strong before Honor No More does the old razzle dazzle, maybe cheat to win,
All I can say is if you are somebody who doesn't want spoilers and you don't want to find out who's going to win the Honor No More versus Bullet Club 10-man tag part 5 at Emergence, if you don't want to find out who's going to win, don't go on to Impact's socials, Impact's websites. Don't look at tickets or matches that have been announced for their Second City Slam TV tapings. I just
closed Twitter. Done.
You don't want to see it because they've already given you the spoiler of who's going to win that match. I'm sorry. But anyway, Kenny King, Karl Anderson. It's a match. It's fine. It's a very straightforward match. And I was telling someone else on Twitter, I said it's a perfectly good match in the way that they picked the body part, they worked over it, and they made sense of it. That was it. And then the match happened, and then the match finished. a good reversal, and then the good guy won. And then Heath, like you said, yeah, they should be absolutely expecting Heath at every corner. And the
Yeah.
fact that Heath comes in, just hits his wake up call, and then jumps over the barricade and just slaps 5 with everybody. Heath is having like the best time in Impact. Like he's that guy at your favorite sports game, whether he's at the football game that's like so jazzed whenever somebody scores a touchdown that he's like, yeah, and he's just like high-fiving every person that he can. It's like, I don't care. Yeah, 2-year-old kid. Yeah, that's good. He is that guy at Impact right now, and it's fun. It's infectious. I like it.
It's always good to see someone enjoying themselves, but sorry, my mouth or my throat rather is a little dry. But I will say, it does give me to cause pause to be like, they're going to find Heath before their match at Emergence and beat the dog out of this man. Because if you're not expecting, you're not going to add no one else to Honor No More unless someone hits you with the razzle dazzle. But that's what I would be thinking. At this point, you have to take Heath out before your match because Heath is going to cheat. And like you said, if they're about to go 5-man Honor No More against Bullet Club Electric 2 Boogaloo, then you're going to have to take him out. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
You're going to have to.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do that 10-man tag. And we'll talk about it when we get to our Emergence card rundown. Moving on, we got Diener with Joe Doring taking on Kushida with Chris Sabin. A match that, honestly, I was really looking forward to. And it did deliver for me, man. It was good. I kind of went in expecting Diener to have one of those like X Division style matches with Kushida, who's very fast in his own right. Really, just the match was just a lot of back and forth. There's a great reversal spot from Kushida. I want to point this out because it's the little things in wrestling that I love. So Diener has Kushida in a headlock, and then Kushida goes and steps on the back of Diener's knee, steps around Cody Diener, and then puts a headlock of his own on Diener. So Kushida just gets out of it by stepping on the back of the knee and stepping around. And that's a perfectly like acceptable, almost MMA, but definitely like a fighting technique. And I really appreciated that out of Kushida. Diener's working the neck for most of the match on Kushida, and then eventually misses the diving headbutt in the finish. Kushida does this bridging single arm underhook suplex with the bridge, like I mentioned, and gets the pin. Doring and Sabin get involved. They kind of fight for a little bit, take each other out. What do you think of the match? How'd you feel about Diener and Kushida, and then Doring and Sabin and all that stuff?
I'm going to try to talk before I pass away. Apparently, I'm expiring. I liked the match. I did. My favorite part of it, again, was the post-match to build up for Emergence tomorrow. But Violent by Design, what's going on? What's going on? It's giving me credence to think that maybe you guys are going to break up, which I can see, I can understand. But I think Eric Young is going to go crazy on them, which he doesn't necessarily go crazy on them in the promo. But y'all better not lose that tag team. Better not lose that tag team match at Emergence, or else Eric Young is absolutely going batshit. And if he does it, it's kind of like, then why you keep threatening him? At some point, you got to make good on your promises.
Let's talk about that promo that happens. They do the Violent by Design. I labeled it VBD Stairs promo number 3, because honestly, they spent the entirety of their time doing promos by the stairwell at the venue they were shooting at for the past round of TV tapings. Eric Young is now walking down the stairs to join Diener and Doring at their level. This isn't high art, people. This is very much like, it's some sort of simile, or it's a metaphor, I should say. So he's joining them at their level. He's coming off his perch. He says the world belongs to Eric Young, and he's going to join Violent by Design at Emergence, even though Diener just lost his match to Kushida. Wasn't the whole thing that he was pissed off that they kept losing the matches? So why is Eric Young suddenly so on board to join them for the tag match at Emergence?
I mean, at some point, I take it as, if Violent by Design is supposed to be this really strong, really dominating group, you at some point have to step in and say, well, either I'm going to beat you guys and show you that the sickness is still in you, but I can't really do that. Or I could step in and maybe we can course correct. I understand it. But I don't, like you said, I also don't understand, why do you think they deserve it? I thought this match tonight was to show you that they could get it done. And like I said, at some point you have to put up or shut up. You can't make these threats. And people, you're going to make the threats and you got to follow through on them. So hopefully maybe at Emergence they win the tag team, but who is it going to be? Is it going to be Diener and Eric Young, or is it be Joe Doring and Eric Young?
If Diener loses, or actually, let's say that Eric Young gets pinned. He's in the match. It's Diener and Young. Eric Young gets pinned. Eric Young gets beat up by Diener and Doring, and he's kicked out of Violent by Design.
I was thinking that
breakup.
I was thinking that at the end it turns into Eric Young is the one who gets ousted.
Mm-hmm. And that seems to be kind of where my brain's at too. We'll see come Friday, which is tomorrow already, the 12th of August. But I just found that Stairs promo to be very strange and kind of like as if they shot it out of order. Spoiler alert, they did. So everything was just kind of weird. It's like Diener just lost to Kushida. The whole reasoning has been that he's not winning. The Violent by Design's not winning. Therefore, they've had the sickness. Therefore, they're useless. Therefore, they shouldn't be a group. But now they're back together and they're stronger than ever. Very strange.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Big cold vibes.
What wasn't strange, Cresta, was Brian Myers in the back with all the young boys and saying, "You mess with the bull, you get the," and someone replies, "the horns." And then this young boy next to him was just like, "Hey, what happened after the match?" And Brian Myers immediately just knows what to say. So I clipped the video and turned off the comments. That's what you do.
Bro, as someone who's on TikTok far too much than I should be, I've seen people like, you know what? I'm going to control my narrative. I'm turning off the comments. I don't care. I'm turning off the stitches, the comments. I'm turning off the downloads. I know what happened. No, didn't you know? No.
By the way, we started a TikTok this week. Go to TikTok and join @Fightful.com. There's a lot of really good stuff that's going to be there. So that's my TikTok plug. But Cresta, you've turned off the comments. You know what to do. You've clipped it. You've clipped the video. You've turned off the comments. You know what to do here. So therefore, you deserve a digital media championship match. At least that's what Bhupinder Gujjar thinks. He walks in. He says he's done with this shit. Challenges Brian Myers for the digital media championship. And Brian Myers says, "You're not a verified pro wrestler." Again, Gujjar still doesn't have his blue check mark. They're going to do it at Emergence.
Myers, you're not a nice guy, Myers.
I love it, though. So Gujjar and Myers at Emergence for the Digital Media Championship. I assume it's going to be on the pre-show, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the match later, but I like that they're going to finally do it. I just wish that they had spent a little more time being stupid. Well, more silly. I guess we come week after week and been like, this is great.
The way I see it, no matter who wins, Cresta Starr got next. I got a lot of followers. I feel like I have a shot. I have a shot. According to Brian, I have a shot. I just feel like.
But have you gotten your blue check mark yet?
This is semantics, Joel.
It's true. I guess Gujjar's getting the match, therefore you'll be all right too.
And I feel like I have more followers than Gujjar, so therefore, based on the math,
it's gonna happen. Cresta's next.
And I'll give you a title shot, Joel. You got next. I'll give you a title shot.
I think I'm going to be seeing, if Gujjar wins, I'm going to be seeing Gujjar before you're going to be seeing Bhupinder Gujjar. So we'll leave it at that. Moving on, Tiffany Nieves, which, by the way, every time I see her name, I want to pronounce it Neves. So thankfully, it's Nieves. Tiffany Nieves takes on Killer Kelly in Killer Kelly's Impact Wrestling debut. Very quick match. I do like that this is Tiffany Nieves getting another shot after Killer Kelly beat the shit out of her, and effectively she wants revenge. Like Nieves wants to get back at Killer Kelly, and we know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Quick match. Nieves gets a slap, and then it's all Killer Kelly. She wins via submission in what she's calling the Killer Clutch. What do you think of Killer Kelly's debut?
I really have they are really nice outfits, and Tiffany Nieves stole my whole flow. That's my shoot name. And she's from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. She stole my whole flow. So I'm instantly a Killer Kelly fan because you stole my whole gimmick. No, I'm kidding. But no, it was a standard squash match. I was expecting this much from it, and I got a little bit more. So 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Killer Kelly wearing the Penelope Ford outfit. The Penelope Ford fit. That's her gear style.
I was like, where did I see that before? And I couldn't think. It's also sometimes Willow Nightingale wears the thing like that too. Yes.
Yeah, the kind of like suspenders with the top.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good gimmick. I like that type of gear. Looks good.
She looks very creepy, very stalkerish. So I'm hoping that I've expected nothing and I got a little bit more. So I feel like I came up.
I mean, they're calling Killer Kelly a voyeur.
I'm a child of God. I don't know what you're talking about.
And if you're a child of God, you can leave a thumbs up on this video. Honor No More is in the back.
Put
Tell me if
$1
you've
in the
heard this one
basket.
before. Yeah.
Oh.
Tell me if you've heard this one before.
Backstage, who are we blaming now? PCO, we should band together, or maybe we'll finally win the 80th time. How many promos can...
Let's run this down.
Let me mute my mic.
So here are my notes. We have been... Eddie says, we've been here before. And I write down, tell me about it. And then Eddie says, we've gone places people don't want us to go. To which I also wrote, tell me about it. And then Eddie says, but we're still here. To which my reply is, unfortunately. Eddie Edwards says it's all about all of Honor No More. And then he says PCO proved his loyalty. So now he's off his back. Edwards finally believes in PCO. It only took him almost, offing himself in that match last week against...
But it's like the third match PCO won. So come on now, Eddie.
Very strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
Here's my question to you, Cresta. Kenny King lost, and yet he was praised by Eddie Edwards. So why isn't Eddie Edwards going after Kenny King in this promo?
It was the excuse. Because I saw when he said, even though you lost, that's okay. I was like, wait. What are the rules? What are the rules? Because you were mad at PCO because PCO, this is the second or third match PCO had to do to prove himself. And every time PCO is won. What are the rules? This is why on my soapbox and here before you now, all of you millions and millions of five or six, I love you all. But Honor No More, I want them to break up. I think they're all individually great wrestlers. But I cannot stand this. This is an affront to my sensibilities.
So Eddie Edwards basically looks at Taven and Bennett and says, they're going for the tag titles. Okay, so we basically know that Taven and Bennett, OGK, are going to go for the Impact tag titles. Which is, by the way, this is another thing that I do not like about this promo, is that he's giving it away. Like, he's foreshadowing the finish. And then Eddie Edwards, presumably after last week's promo with Josh Alexander, the little backstage thing that they did, Eddie Edwards is going to be in line for an Impact world title shot. Okay, sure. Edwards and Alexander will be fine. It'll be a heat-filled type of promo or segment. What are they going to do? They're going to have Honor No More versus Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander is going to need some friends. So what? Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida. So that's 4, and then we need a 5th.
Not another 5v5. I have to laugh to stop the mental illness from hurting my brain even further, because it's like, I want them to be great, but y'all got to do something else besides this.
You know who the 5th is going to be? It's going to be Speedball Mike Bailey, because Kenny King's going to go after the X Division Championship, which I don't mind. Kenny King's a former Impact X Division champion. The Knockouts is next on my list. That's why. So Kenny King for the X Division Championship. So there's your 5-on-5. You got Motor City Machine Guns, Josh Alexander, Kushida, and Mike Bailey.
Anything with Mike Bailey, sign me up. Anything with I don't care. He could be watching paint dry. I want to watch that with him.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to AO in the chat saying PCO hasn't been pinned since Slammiversary. That's it. And then Ryan with the super chat saying, so Cresta wants no more Honor No More.
Listen, like, individually, I think they're great. But how many times you gonna keep blaming everybody else, Eddie Edwards, specifically PCO? Leave that man alone.
We haven't talked about the real elephant in the room, Cresta. Vincent went back to Ring of Honor. He went back to a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and he defended and lost his 6-man tag championships.
That's not canon.
So technically, Vincent is like Honor sometimes.
Maybe a little bit of honor.
He's Honor for pay. You know what I mean?
Honor for pay specifically for you.
That's right. Anyway, let's move on. So that's just what I'm kind of thinking with this Bullet Club and Honor No More. That promo was just, again, shot out of order and just didn't make sense with the overall moving forward to Emergence tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. It's AEW versus Impact. Madison Rayne versus Mia Yim. By the way, shout out to whoever's running the YouTube chat for the Ultimate Insiders on Impact, because they ran a poll saying who you got. and they put Mia Yim Impact or Madison Rayne AEW, and then in parentheses put I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
I was looking at that and I was like, Madison Rayne is truly the forbidden door, pulling double duty. Yesterday, Jade Cargill. Today, Mia Yim. Tomorrow, The Influence. I mean, tomorrow, Vex. And like, she's on it. She is about her back. That woman is an entrepreneur.
She's a something. She definitely had a match with Mia Yim. So first of all, they did a full retrospective of Madison Rayne's career on commentary, as if they knew she was leaving. So, okay, sure. And you know what? Pay respect, because she was a wonderful wrestler. Yes. And she still is. She's still in her prime. She's still very young. She can still go. Clearly, we saw that, you know, in not so much on this match, to be honest. We'll get to that. But on Dynamite, you know, she had a good match with Jade. So that's one. But here's the thing, Cresta. I don't know if you saw this, but I felt like there were a bunch of spots in this match where Mia Yim was waiting on Madison Rayne to set up and get into position.
Yes. I will say doing this and then just waiting for it, I respect it, but at the same time,
didn't work.
Yeah.
Rayne's on the top rope. Mia steps up. She waits, and then she plants her feet because she's going to catch Madison Rayne's Hurricane Rana to go into that powerbomb. Now, I'm all for safety. I don't want anyone to get hurt, especially in this business, because it sucks. You know, you're already putting your body on the line doing a lot of crazy shit. This was just one time where I'm like, I'm watching you freeze to set up the spot, and I shouldn't see this. And there was a lot of that in this match. That's just one example.
Now, I'll give you that. I have a bad habit of when I see something like that, I just focus on the things I do like. Mia Yim's hair was very pretty tonight. I enjoyed that. Like I said, when I see something I don't like in wrestling, I focus on the things I do like. Mia Yim's hair was incredibly pretty tonight, and I would like to get my hair done at the same hairdresser. But I will also say that overall, I want to say that hopefully, how do I say this without sounding like a jerk? I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but I feel it's going to come off that way. I want that to be more on Madison and not more on Mia, because I don't want to see that tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do. I'm going to put over the end of this match, though. I will say that. So Mia Yim does this low cannonball, and it always looks nasty when she does. So it was good, like good nasty. I liked it. And then Madison Rayne hits the crucifix power bomb, which is good stuff. I like that crucifix bomb. And then the finish, they did the cross Rayne gets reversed to the Pele kick from Mia Yim, and then does eat defeat, and Mia Yim gets the win. And it's a big win because, again, Madison Rayne's been all over Impact. She's literally worked every circuit she can. So it's a big win for Mia Yim, and they're trying to put that over going into her match against Jordynne Grace at Emergence. But the match itself just kind of felt clunky, and it felt like they were just kind of going spot to spot to spot, and you don't need that. And I hope it was just an off night for Madison Rayne.
Yeah.
And I hope that I hope she's able to coach people effectively when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Because I thought the match with her and even Jade on AEW was good. You know, like to me, I apologize. Madison Rayne Wednesday looked really good to me. So, I mean, maybe it could just be an off night, you know, but again, I'm hoping that tomorrow, if it was just an off night, shake it off, listeners. I'm ready to see you tomorrow. I'm ready for you to kick ass and take names, and you're all out of names.
Jordynne Grace and Mia Yim run into each other backstage, and then Jordan's like, hey, are you ready? Because you lost that tag match. And then Mia, I love this. Mia Yim just kind of digs back in and points out that Jordynne Grace had the shortest knockouts tag team reign of all time, and says, oh, at least you're used to short reigns.
Ooh. When she said that, I was dying. Oh, and she also said, girl, it takes two to lose. Don't blame that on me. We're a tag team. You lost, I lost, together. Family.
It was a very, very good little digs at each other, and I appreciate that. It's good because these two are baby faces going at each other, and you've got two major matches with the championships on the line, where you've got two faces effectively. You've got the World Championship, the Knockouts Championship, and you're gonna need some sort of crossing each other in the hallways and just taking a dig at each other, just in the form of, you know, going after one another.
Yeah, and it doesn't make you like even in Josh Alexander's case later on tonight, I don't think it makes you cocky or whatever it is. You're the champion. At some point, you can't just be a humble champion your whole time. Talk your shit. Oh, I'm cursing a lot tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize to the children in the audience.
The children in the audience.
My apologies. Shouldn't y'all be in bed?
What are you talking about? They never leave. They never. I never leave. Vexed is backstage. This was a weird promo. I don't know. Like it just existed. They're talking about Deanna's bachelorette party and that they missed each other last week, but they didn't really need each other because Deanna still won her match. And then she's got like no idea. They're talking like how they have no idea what's going to happen with Decay and Jessica and all that shenanigans. And then they cap it off by saying they're going to party like it's 1999. Cresta, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
I'm listening.
In 1999, Deanna Purrazzo was 5 years old, and Chelsea Green was 8 years old.
So they're gonna have Kate stay up mad late, or think they're gonna stay up late, have a sugar rush, crash by 11, and be asleep by 12.
They'll be lucky to make it to 12. They'll be lucky to make it to 10.
That's funny. I didn't know that. 1990. Wow, I'm older than Deanna Purrazzo. I don't like this timeline anymore.
Oh, don't worry. It gets worse for me when I get to the Josh Alexander segment. We're going to get there. By the way, before we get there and before we talk about the X Division Championship, I want to tell y'all, go ahead and subscribe to Fightful Select because there is so much news coming out of today specifically. Like today alone, we were talking about CM Punk's return. There was some Bray Wyatt news. Sean did his live Q&A. WWE's talking about bringing former talent to SmackDown. That's tomorrow night. If you're listening live here on Thursday night, Friday Night SmackDown, they're going to have some former talent. So much news coming out. Plus, have you heard of anniversary billing? Cresta, are you familiar with the idea of anniversary billing?
If memory serves me correctly, that's when you do all your really big, hey, is this a dream match? We've got some money, and I want you to come and see my show.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Instead, well, you're a Twitch streamer. You know how it goes. If you sign up on Twitch for a 30-day sub, that 30 days doesn't start on the 1st of the month and run to the 31st. It goes when you sign up. So if you sign up on the 7th, it goes to the 7th. Yeah. Well, for a while, Fightful Select was only doing the 1st of the month. That's when you sign up regardless. That's when that's when we take your money. No, not anymore. Now we do anniversary billing. So you sign up now on August the 11th when we're live and recording this. Guess what? Next month on the 11th, that's when you pay.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, it took way too long, but now we're part of the anniversary billing program. Go ahead, subscribe now. Fightful Select, it's $5 a month. That's the lowest tier. You get everything. You get all the content. You get Alex's sour graps. Who doesn't like sour graps? Though lately, Alex has been talking some positivity in WWE because he's liking some of the stuff he's seeing, Cresta.
Bro, honestly, at this point, I'm just waiting for Impact to get through these things that they've pre-taped because everybody is stepping it up. And we are eating good this summer into the fall, into the winter. Thanksgiving is going to be things. I don't have anything for that, but wrestling. Yes. Yes. I am excited. I'm so, I wouldn't be sour either. You understand? Like, I feel wrestling ever since that shift, it's like, wow, everyone's eating good. So I could lose my people if I don't treat them right. And yes, it's not what we want. We want good stuff for wrestlers, no matter where they are on the card. Yes.
By the way, my Humper Chats have finally come back. So if you want to donate a Humper Chat, you can go ahead and do that at humperchats.com. That's why I wasn't talking about it. I was talking about the Super Chats earlier. And MA Solko drops one saying, Deanna said something like, that's so us at the end of their promo, which made me hate them so much. Yeah, that was it.
Besties. That's what I got from that statement. Bestie, we're going to go get, yes, bestie.
They did the Yaz Queen Slay.
Yes, Queen Slay. What is it? What's it? It's Girl Boss, Gatekeep, Gaslight. Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss. Yes.
What? I'm going to let you, Cresta, I'm going to let you in a little secret. A lot of our listenership have no earthly idea what you just said. So please enlighten us.
It's a meme that all of the girls who say girl boss, all they do is gaslight, gatekeep. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. So it's a meme. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a meme. Look it up. Knowyourmeme.com. Look it up.
There you go. That works for me. X Division Championship match. It's Rocky Romero from New Japan Pro Wrestling taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. And this match was great. Dude, I loved watching this thing. It was ridiculous. First of all, Speedball Mike Bailey Cresta is taking on all challengers, and they're bringing this up. They're just like, hey, you think that maybe Speedball's going a little too hard, and that maybe that's going to be his undoing as X Division championship or X Division champion? How did you feel about first of all, the match, and how do you feel about Speedball's performance so far as X Division champion?
I feel like, from what I understand of the X Division Championship and the division as a whole, Speedball is just upholding a legacy of other workhorses, other people who are like, I will challenge anybody. And he's got it. He's got it. I said this earlier. I will watch Speedball Mike Bailey paint and watch it dry. He is so good, so talented. However, I do agree, especially in this match tonight, because Rocky Romero was matching him speed for speed, but Rocky Romero was getting him with the power. And you rarely see that. I actually brought into the fact that Mike Bailey might drop his title tonight. I brought into that.
They did a really good job, because tomorrow night, Mike Bailey gets Jack Evans. And Jack Evans was supposed to be in that Ultimate X match at Slammiversary. He didn't make it because he was injured, but now he's going to be in this match. It's Jack Evans versus Mike Bailey, but they did a really, really, really good job of selling you a ticket that maybe Rocky Romero is going to win the X Division championship. There was just a lot of just solid like X Division style wrestling, right? Bailey kicks the post, and then Rocky goes after his leg and then eventually works over his arm for the rest of the match. A lot of arm bars. Bailey does those fiery kicks, which I love, because that takes so much work. I don't think people understand how hard it is to get those legs up for that amount of speed and that amount of power. And then Romero immediately hits him inside out with the clothesline, and Bailey super kicks him right in the face, and it's gnarly and it looks good and it's fast AF. Love that stuff.
I had to stop writing notes because that match at one point was just back forth. Like in that last third, there was how can I write? How can I write and watch? I can't.
You gotta go back and forth like I do on the Impact gimmick.
I mean, I'm learning from you, Joel. You are the veteran here. I am the young, plucky HBK, but not the jerk HBK, but plucky.
The HBK, well, no, because young, plucky HBK was a dick. The one that came back was okay.
After he found his smile.
He found a lot of things other than his smile, but yes, absolutely.
You're the greatest, Joel.
You haven't lost your smile yet. You haven't lost your smile yet. We got to wait for those days.
Heel turn Cresta, corporate Cresta.
Corporate Cresta, I am all for it. Oh my god.
Okay, no. That was an old gimmick I did before I got banned. But other than that was corporate Cresta. It was corporate Cresta. I was answering all things like, due to the severity of your actions and last night's emotional trauma on me, I cannot respond directly to this tweet. Thank you. No more further questions at this time. You don't want corporate Cresta back. It's Susan, literally from Impact. It's Susan.
That's Cresta's ban appeal stream. I know it. I've been there. I've seen it.
Joel, please, you are killing me tonight.
Speedball does a middle rope outside moonsault. It's always pretty and it always looks good because he gets air on that shit.
Yes.
Love that. And then, of course, Speedball has to kick you in the face, do a standing moonsault to the ribs, and then kick you in the face again. But it's a 2.9. Normally, that will put you down. That sold me a ticket. That was the good stuff. Romero going into a shote and then doing a tornado DDT and a float over into the armbar. And then Bailey turning that into a pin. Again, these things, they have such good chemistry, and these two men have just great workmanship and know how to work each other well. And then the Shiranui from Rocky Romero gets a 2.9. But of course, Mike Bailey hits a crossroad kick, and the Ultimate Weapon gets the win. And then it's handshakes and fist bumps all around, because that's what you do when you're Mike Bailey in a match.
I will say Mike Bailey, watching him versus Trey Miguel versus Rocky Romero, even if you match him in speed, he's going to outmatch you in power. And if you match him in power and speed, like tonight with Rocky Romero, he's going to out-technical you. I mean, maybe this is me. I wish I had I'm going to get a tinfoil hat and put it on my head. But I would love to see Speedball versus AJ Styles, because AJ Styles to me has that same thing. If you match me in speed, I'm going to beat you in power. And if you match me in speed and power, I'm going to out-technical you. And if you out-technical me, then you're Daniel Bryan.
I'm curious, chat, if you want to chime in, who are your dream matches for Speedball? Who do you want to see him face with the X Division Championship on the line? Because there are so many. I'm not talking about Impact. Like, who are your dream matches? Because there are some they're going to be some banger ones, and I'd like to know from the chat. Before we get there, you want to talk about that contract signing? Scott D'Amore's there. Josh Alexander's there. Of course, Alex Shelley is there. Now, first of all, I have to ask, did you see my my tweet to Scott D'Amore on his birthday?
I did not.
I'm going to put this up for everybody. I would like everyone to ask Scott D'Amore, are you my dad?
That's not funny. I didn't mean to make that vomit sound. But that's either your dad, your brother, your Uncle Joe. I love this. Honestly, now I have questions. Scott, and you're both Canadian. What's the truth? So it's
we're gonna see each other in 9 days, he and I. And I really think that I have to ask him the question. Where were you on my birth date? Where were you, Scott D'Amore? Let's talk. I'll see you at Greektown. D'Amore is like, I'll always be a coach. I've been a lot of things here in Impact. And then he calls it a dream match, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, this is hilarious. He says, Josh Alexander exercised his right to sign first. And I was like, I didn't realize that was a thing you can do. But apparently the champion can choose to sign the document first. And then Josh Alexander talks about how he bought a ticket in 2005 to an Impact show. Alex Shelley was on the card. And he says that Alex Shelley dared to be original in an unoriginal business. And then he says the next day he started training in ring as a wrestler, which was just really good shit. Josh Alexander continues to be a much better promo than you expect him to be.
Yes. I think he's a phenomenal champion and doesn't get enough credit. He's like, Impact really made a good choice when they put him as his champion, as their champion.
Yeah, exactly. They knew he could go. They knew he could wrestle. I don't think they fully expected him to put on the promo styles that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And really, like, let's face it, Josh's promos have been very much rooted in, I am an Impact fan, honestly, to the point where he says I'm an Impact stan. And I've been loving the product ever since I was a kid. Like, I loved it forever, yada, yada, yada. And I want to be here, and this is the place. But now he's their champion. And now he's like, I, as a result, want to bring prestige to this company. And you know what, Cresta, this is the wild thing. I've spoken to Josh Alexander, and he really does feel this way as a human being. Mm-hmm. He really is a giant Impact fan who is very happy to be a part of that company and wants it to excel as far as it can go.
There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're the head of the company. I think that human to human, sometimes people get caught up in how much money can I make off of this and how much can I do this, that, and the third. And it's cool. Get paid. Absolutely get paid for what you're worth. But when you're getting paid for what you're worth and you genuinely care about the outcomes, typically it tends to be a better product because someone cares if it sinks or swim, not just, well, I'm getting paid regardless. Because we've seen people who are like, I'm getting paid. I don't care. So I respect that. I firmly respect that. Josh Alexander, 10 toots.
Alex Shelley gets the microphone and he says, hey, Josh Alexander, I respect you. And then he thinks that their careers have run parallel. Mm-hmm. Talks about how they've both been X Division champions. Talks about how they both have been in very positive, very popular tag teams. Of course, Motor City Machine Guns and the North. And then he says Motor City Machine Guns were better. But Josh is the Impact World Champion, and that's something that Shelley hasn't done yet. And that is the thing that has eluded him his entire time in Impact. And then Alexander says he's a Chris Sabin guy because Sabin's won the big one, and he wants Alex Shelley to be at better than his best because Alex Shelley's best hasn't gotten it done before. So now we're doing the whole, you're only as good as your last match, and you can't win the big one, doing all that. And then Alex Shelley does something that I loved this about his promo. So most people don't know that he is a physiotherapist, an occupational therapist, one of those. He has
I did not know that.
He has a background there. And he starts to break down Josh Alexander's injuries and ailments. And he's like, I know physically what's wrong with you. And he lists everything. And he says, and it's all up here. It's all mental. And I'm going to break you. Mm-hmm. And then at this point, I realized something, Cresta.
What'd you realize, Joel?
Josh Alexander and I are born 3 days apart. Yeah, there's 3 days between us.
So in the chat where it says Speedball versus Joel for the title,
I gotta face Josh first. I gotta face Josh.
You got this. Take your birthday twin out. You got this.
There you go. I think he's May 29th, and I am June the 1st of the same year. So kind of wild. And we're both Canadians from up the road from each other. So that's kind of wild. And then Alex Shelley, he signs a contract, and I love this. He says, "There's your Alex Shelley autograph." Says, "I'm going to leave you with a parting gift or a consolation prize." So good and just so simple. And it's not, they didn't flip the table, they didn't brawl across the arena, they didn't do a spot with the table or anything. They just signed the contract, took jabs at each other, got out of the ring, and said, "I'll see you tomorrow night." I loved it, Cresta.
I had to write down just snippets, and I would like to go through all 6 things that I have for you guys right now, because this, as an avid fan of drag queens, this is what we call an expert reading session, because these two read each other to dust. So the first thing I said, when Josh Alexander was like, "Oh, I loved you, I wanted to see you," and the day I saw you, the next day I became a wrestling fan, and then when you're like, "I'm more of a Chris Sabin fan," I was like, oh, because to me, and the people I told was like, "Oh yeah, I like the Motor Shitty Scene because Chris Sabin's that guy." I'm like, "But what about Alex Shelley?" "Yeah, he's great too." Rude, number 1. Number 2, when he said, "It doesn't matter how," like you said, "you can't get the job done." I was like, damn. He said there's a million clones out there, but even the clones have gotten in the ring with me and you. How many Impact Championships you've had? 1-0? Never even had a shot? They might be clones, but what are you doing? Clearly you suck. I was like, wow, Josh Alexander. And my mind was like, you gonna let him kill you like that, Alex Shelley? When I say, I swear I saw M. Bison come out of Alex Shelley, I mean, he was like, your neck is broken. Your ACL is torn. Your neck is messed up. You got a torn pec, a messed up bi, a lat, and an ACL. And you're going to be mad. After I beat you, you're going to be like, wow, Alex Shelley beat me. And for me, I'm going to be like, it was just a Tuesday. Look at this mark. When he said that, I had to walk away from my PC. When he said, I'm going to be looking across the ring from an Alex Shelley mark, I was like, bro, I'm flipping the table. Now we're fighting. Rude. But that was so good. That last part, man, we're brawling. WWE's, that was so good.
It was a very good promo. It was very good. I cannot speak highly enough of it.
Yes.
And it just made sense. That's all it was. Like, it just made sense, and it didn't end with the same old tropes. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to Emergence. It's tomorrow night. If you are part of Impact Plus or the Ultimate Insiders, I'll shill it for a second. It's $5 a month on YouTube, on their website, on Impact's YouTube channel. You get all of their specials except for the pay-per-views. Those are separate, but it's $5. You get the weekly shows. That's how I consume my Impact, and it's very, very helpful. I'm sure other people have other ways. Maybe they're watching this show and getting their Impact fix. That's great. But if you want to watch the show, I do recommend the YouTube channel. It's good stuff. Emergence is live tomorrow night. Let's run down this card. Let's talk about what we expect or what we're gonna see. Digital Media Championships on the line. Gujar is taking on Brian Myers. Do we have a new champion at the show?
I want to say yes, unless Brian Myers cheats. And if he cheats, what's his name is coming? Matt Cardona is coming back to help him cheat. But why would you cheat for the digital media? So I'm going to say Gujar takes it, but I think not Matt Cardona. Oh my God, I always forget this man's name. Who is Gujar challenging for the digital media? Brian Myers. I think Brian Myers cheats. If Brian Myers are saying he's cheating.
By the way, folks, we're heading down the home stretch. Get your super chats in and leave your thumbs up while you're here. So the Digital Media Championship, that's the thing. Matt Cardona, he held that championship and didn't lose it. Mm-hmm. So he could get involved because this is the title that he never lost. But I think that Cardona is going to be back for a world championship run. If Ric Flair's last match taught us anything, that's my feeling.
Okay.
But I can see Gujar winning this match. I can see there being a new digital media champion, and that's Bhupinder Gujar. Yeah. Violent by Design is going to take on Chris Sabin and Kushida. What are you thinking? Is this Violent by Design's reaffirmation, or is this the end of VBD?
My heart is saying Violent by Design loses this, and Eric Young goes ape. But my head is saying Violent by Design wins this because Eric Young is gonna go ape. So like, if they do lose, if Eric Young takes the pin, then they're gonna break up. If Diener takes the pin, Diener getting beat up. If they don't lose, maybe okay, Violent by Design loses. Oh, who you got?
I think Diener's going to take the. I don't think Diener's going to take the pin. I think Eric Young is going to take the pin, and I think Eric Young is going to get booted from Violent by Design, and that's it. I do think that Kushida is actually. I think Chris Sabin's going to get the pin. I do, and I think it's going to be Sabin and Kushida over Violent by Design, and that's it for them.
Yeah.
By the way, chat, I haven't ignored your Speedball dream matches. We're going to get to those when we get to that match on the card. Which is now X Division Championship. Jack Evans takes on Mike Bailey. Now, come on. Is Jack Evans going to become the new X Division champion, Cresta?
In Universe 373, yes. But in this universe, no. Nothing against Jack Evans. He's great. But Mike Speedball is on a tear right now. So it's nothing against Jack Evans. I think Jack Evans is superb since I got to know him from 2.0 in AEW. But Mike Speedball right now, he's on the Canadian stratosphere. He's on one. So Mike Bailey retains.
Canadian stratosphere, by the way, is where Trish Stratus is from as well. Let's go through some of these dream matches because again, I think that Mike Bailey retains.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great match because Jack Evans is absolutely insane as a human being and as a wrestler. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's take a look. Dragon Lee is someone that has been brought up as an opponent for Speedball. Dragon Lee is going to be in that trios tournament in AEW, so that's going to be good. Phoenix is another one. Of course, Phoenix is also
Ray
in
Phoenix
that
would be really good. Yeah.
Hiromu Takahashi from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm a big fan of that. Jordan Grace in a Speed versus Power match. I like that. That's a good shout. Jordan Grace has gone for that X Division championships before.
I wouldn't hate that. But at the same time, I know I love Jordan, but I think Speedball without Speed had just kicked the shit out of her legs over and over and over and over and over and over.
How about Speedball versus Mello?
Carmelo Hayes?
Hell yeah.
I don't know that man.
I
don't want to be mean, but I don't know that man. I'm sorry.
Speedball Chris Sabin. I mean, that's a match that could easily happen in Impact now. I love it. Speedball versus Omega versus Ospreay versus Ricochet. Let's do that. Let's do a 4-way. Yeah,
this is what you would see.
Whole lot of flips. For the inside crowd, Speedball versus Veda Scott, just because, for those who don't know, they are wearing the rings together. Speedball versus Matt Seidel. I could see that. That'd be a fun match.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Do you think that Speedball would open Matt Seidel's third eye for him?
Bro, I get Matt Seidel confused with Alex Shelley, and people are like, how is that possible? To me, they look the same. So maybe I'm thinking you're talking about Alex Shelley. So no, Matt, I know who Matt Seidel is. They just look the same to me. Maybe they'll open up his third eye, but that'll be a good match. But I think Seidel would go over on that kind of.
No, I don't think so. I think Speedball would go over in that one. That's how I feel.
I'm the winner in that match. So
whoever
wins.
We got Mustafa Ali. That's a good one.
That would be great.
Yeah. Who else we got? I know there's a couple more. Someone said Ricochet, Sammy Guevara, Shingo Takagi is an interesting shout. Nathan Frazier from NXT 2.0. I would also be a fan of that. It's good stuff.
I don't know that man either. I haven't watched NXT. I think the last time I watched NXT, takeovers were still happening.
And of course, me and Speedball title for title. Let's go, Speedball. I want to see you in the ring so that you can beat my ass, because let's face it, I got no chance.
Listen,
let's move on.
I'll help you cheat.
Go. I will, just for you. Steve Macklin takes on Sammy Callahan. Does the Death Machine beat up the Renegade? What are we doing with Steve Macklin and Sammy?
Steve is winning. Steve Macklin is winning. Nothing against Sammy Callahan, and just based off of what's been going on, Sammy Callahan ain't afraid to put someone else over. And to me, if you go over on him, what you doing? You gonna fight Moose again? Moose is absolutely helping him cheat, though.
Well, that's the thing. I just don't think that there is. I don't know. Like, I want to see Macklin move up in the ranks.
Yeah,
but there's obviously more to the Macklin and Moose story with Sammy. That, like, unfortunately, we're gonna have to watch a 3-way dance between these guys, or Sammy's gonna have to find a friend.
Yeah, that's probably more like it. They're gonna have to find a friend, but I think Macklin goes over on Sammy Callahan. But who want to be friends with Sammy Callahan? You bringing somebody back?
I guess. I don't know who.
Because like nobody, Moose and Sammy Callahan, nobody like. Why would
It would just be someone for like the next set of tapings type of thing. It wouldn't be Sam. It wouldn't be like a full-time Impact star, because that's one thing that Scott D'Amore and when Don Callis was around, when they were talking about how Impact's running right now, it's the idea that like people come and go.
Yeah.
And that you just had to be ready for these people to show up. And that's fine. Honestly, we haven't seen W. Morrissey. And we know that W. Morrissey, there's been talk about him going to AEW. There's been talk about him going back to WWE. Obviously, a lot of things have changed, or they're waiting on something for him to come back to WWE because there's there's the health and what's the word I'm thinking? He's got to go through the checks. You know what I mean?
The I know what you're talking about.
The medical.
Yes,
He's got to go through the medical. So maybe that's a holdup. I don't know. I really am not reporting anything. I'm just speculating beyond my wildest dreams. But W. Morrissey coming back for a little bit to join up with Sammy against Macklin and Moose, that would make sense on multiple levels. I would do that.
Okay. I can see it. If he doesn't go back, because like you said, everything has changed where people were like, okay, you'll go here, you'll go here. The landscape has changed dramatically. Yes. So.
And I see Madman Fulton as an option in the chat. That's not a bad idea. Haven't seen him in a little while. Him and Ace Austin were together for a bit, and it could be a fun little, not a repairing, but at least some sort of acknowledgement there. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Bandito takes on Ray Horace in a AAA showcase match. Ray Horace hasn't wrestled as Ray Horace in several years, and Bandito is Bandito. Everyone's expecting that to be great. Honestly, here's the thing. Ray Horace is going to be part of the tapings the next night. I don't remember if Bandito is, but I would do Bandito versus Mike Bailey for that X Division Championship.
That would be good. And who else said Phoenix? All three of them together? Yo, I'm upside down. I'm so excited for that.
So are they. Yeah, so as people are talking about in the chat, Moose and Macklin and W. Morrissey and all that stuff. So anyway, I could see Bandito getting the win en route to having a match with Speedball. That would work. Oh, Bandito is part of the taping. So there you go. Bandito gets the win.
Yeah.
I can see him beating Horace and then doing Bandito getting the X Division Championship match. 10-man tag.
Throw me in a river.
If Honor No More loses, they disband. But of course, go check out Impact social media. You'll know the answer. Edward Edwards, Matthew Taven, Michael Bennett, Kenneth King, and Perfect Creation 1 take on the team of Bullet Club, Good Brothers, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and thank God Hikuleo's back because I'm a big Hikuleo fan. Cresta, Honor No More wins. Who pins whom? Mike Bennett pins Doc Gallows. Let's move on. Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship.
Not Doc Gallows. Let Ace Austin or Bay take. Well, not Bay. So let Ace Austin take it. That's no. Move on.
Rosemary and Ty take on Vexed, the team of Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. Jessica, who is sick with a S. She's not sick. She's sick. Gotta make sure people understand that she is perfectly healthy. Who's going to win the Knockouts Tag Team Championship? Is it going to be Rosemary and Taya retaining, or is Vexed about to knock out the tag team win?
I think Vexed is going to win this. I think right now, Decay or Taya, they got a lot of internal turmoil, and there's too much going on. And I hate to say it, I see Taya and Jessica getting together and turning on Rosemary. And then when Jessica gets her stuff together, they turn on Taya.
I'm going to let you in on my brain thoughts. If Taya Valkyrie loses her Knockouts Tag Team Championship tomorrow night, I am certain, almost certain, that she'll wind up in WWE by the end of the year.
You know,
the dominoes will fall. She'll start dropping her millions of championships.
That's not bad. Because I remember when she was released from NXT as Frankie Monet, there were a series of tweets where she was like, John Morrissey did all of this stuff for me and this, that, and the third. And we did all of this stuff just for them to mess it up pretty much. So I can absolutely see her going back to get it. Yeah, I could see that. I don't like it because I feel like the best representation of her has been an Impact. However, if it's your dream, sis, I support you. Taya, I support you.
She's got big matches coming up. She's going to be at Triple Mania, and that's going to be in October. She has a match with Thunder Rosa, putting on her Reina de Reinas championship. If she loses that to Thunder Rosa, I'm gonna bump that 50% up to a 90%.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling. There are no official reports, no nothing. It's just me reading the tea leaves. If Taya loses tomorrow night, that's my feeling.
That's the domino effect, the starting. Yeah, I can see that.
I think so. And then she'll drop the XPW Women's Championship and the MLW Featherweight Championship. And then, and it all goes down until October when she drops that Reina de Reinas Championship in AAA.
Yeah.
Knockouts Championship. Jordan Grace is the champion. She takes on Mia Yim. Does Jordan Grace drop that Impact Knockouts Championship?
I mean, if they want to go with Mia Yim's storyline of you have short reigns, absolutely, but I don't see that happening. I like Mia Yim, I do, but Jordan Grace is a large woman, and unless you're going in there with an elephant tranquilizer, and even then, I don't see it for my girl Yim, and it makes me sad, but I don't see it. I think Grace goes over on her.
I think I agree. I think Jordan Grace has a hill to climb, and I think getting on the other side of that hill is Masha Slamovich.
Yeah, and I think Masha's gonna take it off for her. And
if it's not going to be that, then it's going to be Masha and Killer Kelly in a knockouts tag team that just runs roughshod.
That would be good versus Vex. I'd watch that. That'd be really technical and powerful. Yes.
I would love to watch that. It would be the most mismatched, well-matched tag team you could see. I'm a fan of that. Because again, Deonna, Chelsea have proven time and again, wonderful wrestlers, very good at their jobs. And Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich are very different wrestlers who are also very good. I would like to see those two match up, those four, I should say, and see how they work together. Let's move on. It's the main event for the Impact World Championship. Josh Alexander defends against Alex Shelley. Is this the night where Alex Shelley wins the big one? Cresta, give me your expert analysis.
No. And it makes me sad to even say that because I would love Alex Shelley to go over. I would love it. I think that's great. Just Josh Alexander is too powerful right now. If Josh Alexander was kind of on the way out, I could maybe see it. I don't see it. And it sucks because it's like, why does your first shot have to be Josh Alexander? He's literally the north, the pinnacle, the mountain, the tippy top. He's the summit, bro. So it's going to be a good match, but and ain't nobody going to help him cheat. So you going to lose clean or you going to win clean. So
remember that 10-man tag where I said that was it Bennett pins Doc Gallows?
Mm-hmm.
I think Eddie Edwards gets the pin and then he comes out and effectively challenges Josh Alexander after he defends and wins that match.
Joel, you have taken me through the range of emotions tonight. One moment I'm laughing, I'm killing. Now you've made me incredibly sad. Yeah. Because I see your logic. I'm trying to put 2 and 8 together and I'm still getting 10 and I don't like that number. I don't like that number because you're right. I could see it. I could see Eddie Edwards getting the pin on someone, maybe one of the champions, and be like, these guys are going to team, but I pinned the champion. I should get a champion.
Well, I mean, you're seeing 10 because this is like the 10th 10-man tag that they're going to be in.
Not this. That's all I got is not this.
And then you'll do Honor No More versus Josh Alexander, Motor City Machine Guns, Kushida, and Mike Bailey. I'm telling you, we got this for you.
But then that because what's the end game here? Because Eddie Edwards ain't gonna take it off of Josh Alexander. So what's the end game? Why?
Who knows? Anyway, Emergence is gonna be a fun wrestling show. I'll let you in on a little secret. Not a little secret. Normally, I know, right? Just cup your ears. Normally, Impact is like we do at least one championship change per big show.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not the tag team championships, then it's probably that digital media championship.
I could see it. Maybe Impact does too. Hit us with the rope-a-dope, but I could absolutely see it being the Knockout Women's Tag Team Championships. Because even Brian Myers has a way to retain over Guja, who I think will absolutely beat him clean. But homie could cheat. He's a known cheat. That's the only one where I'm like, yeah, no, that's definitely happening. Because no disrespect to Rosemary and Taya, what are y'all doing?
Trying to figure out how sick Jessica is.
Sick.
That's how sick she is. And we're sick too. We're sick of talking. So let's get the action going. Emergence is tomorrow night. This was your Impact post show. Cresta, tell them where they can find you on the internet and what you got going on.
Guys, my name is Cresta Starr. You can find me anywhere on all social media sites at Cresta Starr, except for my Twitter where it's Cresta the Star. I changed my TikTok back from Cresta Starr Reacts because that's a lot to Cresta Starr. So you can find me anywhere. You can type those words. I don't do anything but talk crap on the internet about wrestling, and I want to be your friend. Let's be my friend. Not real life friends, but internet friends in Christ. Joel, where can they find you?
I'm at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. I'm really easy to find. What do we got going on? I'm over at Fightful Overbooked. Go to youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked or twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. I want to play more video games, so maybe I will once in a while. Just keep an eye out over on my Twitter at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you tomorrow night. There's so much wrestling going on. You'll always find something good. Enjoy your night, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye.